In further developments, the king of the Royal Bafokeng Nation, Leruo Molotlegi, has urged mining communities and traditional authorities to diversify their investments from the sector. He was speaking to business editor Xolani Mbanjwa at the Investor in Africa Mining Indaba underway in Cape Town.
The 31st edition of the Investing in African Mining Indaba is well underway, and there has been a lot of chats and talks on the sides looking at making sure that African mining thrives. And what happens is the big question to those mines that have reached end of life. How do those investments make sure that there is life after mining? For that, we're joined by Royal Bafokeng Kgosi, Leruo Molotlegi. Thank you very much, Kgosi, for your time. Let's talk about where you are right now as a company and where you wanted to go. Diversification is an important part of the future, particularly since you were heavy on platinum in the beginning.
Well, as a community, not as a company. So in 2000, we were entirely dependent on revenues from the mining companies, and we started a diversification process whereby now 20 years later, mining comprises 4% of our portfolio, and the other 96% is on non-mining assets. Financial services, oil and gas, property, telcos, and so on and so forth. Because as you know, mining does not last forever. There comes a point whereby the mines will run out of ore. So that was the first step in moving towards the end of mine of life. The second step now is to do an audit of the environmental audit. Have the mines complied? Do they have mine closure plans? Are there funds? You're talking about cash now to do the rehabilitation. And then the third and final step, which will be ongoing, is now to start imagining a post-mining economy. What happens when the mines close? So that's where essentially we're at. And part of us being here at Mining Indaba is to begin to socialize those processes.
That's quite an important one, Kgosi, the end of life of mines, which is something that South Africa has experience with. What lessons have you learned thus far?
Well, it's still early days, but what we're finding is that the mines aren't quite what they say that they have in stock, and what we're finding is quite different. So we want to become part of the solution. We want to come on board with the mines. We want to work with the mines. If need be, we'll also put our own money into the fund to rehabilitate. And so it's still early days. We're socializing the ideas. Mines are, they seem to be cooperative. So I guess in the coming months we'll have more to say about this.
Kgosi, Leruo Molotlegi, thank you so much for your time. The Kingdom of Royal Bafokeng, that is Kgosi Leruo Molotlegi, here to talk about how important it is for companies and communities, rather, to diversify. Think about diversification, because mining is not forever. He says this is an important gathering where they are here to share ideas on that front. For NEWZROOM Africa on channel 405, I am Xolani Mbanjwa in Cape Town.